buku yang kena self-collect ke. Ada student contact, saya tak tahu dari section mana. Mungkin section ni, ada tak ada tu yang datang nak collect buku? Anybody from here? No? Ataupun ada yang, ada seorang student tu dia dari UTHM. Siapa yang tak? Dia memang dari UTHM, tapi dia minta kirim courier ke UTHM. Saya ingat saya nak hantar pergi tempat dia. Saya tak tahu who's the name of student, I forget. So kalau ada nanti you communicate with me. Okay? Alright, so let's start our lesson today. Fundamental of, okay, so previously in our previous class, we know that, okay, I hope that you guys already follow apa yang video yang saya telah bagi untuk lesson 2 minggu lepas ya. So I hope that you follow that because I will not cover that anymore. Okay, I consider that as an official and synchronous. Kalau saya cover lagi kita tak sempat. Okay, tapi along the way I will touch a few points on the things that you learn by that asynchronous punya video. Okay, along the way. Okay. Anyway, for the fundamental macam mana nak buka software itu I already put in that videos. So tapi saya akan tunjukkan juga kat sini. Okay. So you know that in order to communicate with the computer, so kita kena give the instruction to the computer, right? So the process of giving the instruction to the computer is we need to communicate with a certain kind of language. Okay? And one of the language that recognized by the computer is machine language. Computer hanya faham machine language saja. Okay? But not easy for human to communicate with machine language. Only a specific kind of people yang boleh, but not a normal human. Okay? So how can we communicate in this way? So that's why they invent programming languages. Okay, so the programming languages simplifies the machine language more readable to the human. Okay, so instead of giving the instruction in machine language, you will give the instruction dalam bentuk programming language. Right, so you give the instruction with programming language and then that language will be converted ataupun scientific name dia adalah interpreted or compile into a machine language. Then baru komputer kita boleh understand, oh apa dia nak. Okay, so what kind of programming language that we can use? We have Java, we have C++, we have C#, and now we learn Python. Okay, the language that we are going to learn to communicate with the computer ataupun to do the instruction to the computer adalah Python. Okay, so the result bila kita dah buat program, when we type the code using this programming language, we will come up with satu program. And that program kalau kita run, dia akan execute the specific task based on your requirement. We are going to do that today. Okay, so our activity today is more into a coding activities. Okay, coding tu adalah a verb representing that you typing a code, you developing ataupun you working, you writing a code. Okay, menggunakan programming language. Itu maksud coding. Okay, it's a part of programming activities. Okay, to turn the code into a program. Alright, so in this class we are going to learn about the fundamental of programming. Okay. So this element not only applicable for Python, but they are also applicable for any programming languages. Okay, so there are 4 components. Ada satu lagi saya perlu letak, nanti kita akan tengok. Yes, okay. So the first is keyword. Okay, so kalau kita tengok term keyword ni, okay, it's a special text in Python to perform specific tasks. Okay, so when you want to execute, okay, let's open your Jupyter Notebook dahulu. Nak kita open kita punya Jupyter Notebook dahulu. Okay, so let's open it sekejap ya. Okay, please jangan tanya macam bukan jangan tanya, I mean please boleh dah buka Jupyter Notebook tu macam mana. Okay, so we open it through Anaconda Navigator. Tapi ada banyak cara sebenarnya nak buka Jupyter Notebook. But I teach you the most direct way. Okay, kalau saya ada banyak style dia. Because I use Mac might be a little bit different with yours, but the thing is similar. Okay. Right. Kalau rasa penat, you let me know. Hari ni kelas panjang sikit. Okay. Kadang-kadang saya cakap lupa masa. So mungkin kita boleh lihat 5 minit. Okay, let me know. Okay. So this is our Anaconda punya dashboard. Okay. And through Anaconda, we can open Jupyter Notebook yang ni. Okay, maybe you install a different version. Maybe yours are the updated version, slightly different compared to mine. What is this sound? Why some strange sound from my computer? Okay. Alright. Okay. Okay. So just click launch this button. Okay. Yang ini kita punya kernel function. So jangan padam. And this is terminal where your Python try to communicate with your client services. So jangan padam, jangan tutup dia. So you can minimize it, but not close it. Otherwise, your Jupyter punya notebook cannot communicate with your packages library nanti. Okay. Alright. So this is our dashboard, Jupyter dashboard. Okay. So you see your dashboard dia akan gunakan you punya web browser sebagai dia punya host, client host. Okay, so dia akan gunakan you punya default web browser. Sorry. Okay, for example, I'm use my default web browser is Safari. So dia akan open my Safari. Yours maybe gunakan Google Chrome ataupun menggunakan apa? Microsoft Edge. Okay, Firefox maybe. So different people, different computer might use different default browser. Saya guna Safari, but almost all the things are similar lah sepatutnya. Okay, so this is our root. Okay, root location. Okay, so ini saya punya desktop. Maksudnya when I go here, I can see the desktop file that available in my desktop. Ini kita boleh padam lah, Anaconda ni boleh padam ya. Ini desktop saya lah. Okay, so in this desktop, I will create a file. Okay, I can create a file here. Even you can create a folder and go to the folder untuk buka file tu pun boleh. Okay, katakanlah kita create satu folder dekat desktop. So create new folder, make it week 5. Okay, section 3, right? Yeah. Week 5, section 2. Okay, week 5, section 3. Okay, tak ada apa kan? So we want to create our Jupyter Notebook inside that folder. Okay, so dekat desktop ni, you guys maybe different name of desktop. So search for the folder, week 5, section 3. Tengok kat sini, week 5, section 3. Okay. So click this one. So nampak tak ada benda dalam folder tu, betul tak? Okay. And then here you click new and then Python 3. Okay. So you create satu Jupyter Notebook file over here. Okay. You create satu Jupyter Notebook file inside this folder with the name untitled. Nampak tak name dia untitled? Okay. You can rename this. Okay, sama ada you click here, you can rename this file here, ataupun cara yang paling bagus adalah rename it here. So ini adalah Jupyter file that you just created. Okay, so let's rename that file. Click somewhere beside the Jupyter punya logo ni, click that untitled, and then name it any name that you want. Take week 5, contoh. Week 5. Okay, underscore section 3. It depends on you. Tak kisah lah. Okay, and then click rename. You will see the name will be updated. Okay, when you go to your main dashboard, ini adalah kita punya main dashboard tab yang ni. Okay, Nampak tak dekat folder desktop section 5, week 5 section 3 ada satu file that we created here. Okay, dengan nama yang sama tadi. Dan kalau kita check folder tempat kita create that file pun, they already been updated the name. Okay. Test 2 nanti you are required to send this file to me. Sebab tu saya nak pastikan you buat naming yang betul file ni. So you see the file that you save adalah dalam bentuk IPYNB, IPython notebook. Okay, ini adalah dia punya extension name file dia. Kenapa nama dia IPYNB? Because previously the name of Jupyter Notebook adalah IPython Notebook. So you see IPYNB adalah short form for IPython Notebook. Okay, so bila dia dah update these few years, dia gunakan Jupyter Notebook. But the extension is still same. Okay, alright. So now, go to this tab. Okay, kita klik tab ni. Okay, so here is your cell, input cell. Ini you can refer back apa input cell. Okay, how to run the cell. You can always watch the video that I prepare to you. Okay, you always watch, tengok balik video itu. Tetapi you jangan gunakan IDE lain. Dalam exam, dalam project, kalau tiba-tiba you guna IDE lain. Ini adalah kita punya IDE, ya. Still remember the IDE I mentioned before? Adalah tempat di mana kita nak type program. Itulah integrated development environment. Kalau you guna Spider, guna ni lain dia punya extension nanti. So saya tak terima tu. Saya hanya terima work related using a Jupyter Notebook. Please. Okay? Alright, so okay, lepas ni kita akan try to type here. Along the way, while we're giving a lecture, we also type the code. Okay? Alright, so the first thing that we want to understand adalah, I want to start with something, maybe I start with data. Okay, your class saya start dengan cara yang berbeza sedikit. We want to talk about the value. Okay, so in programming, computer only, wait ya. Okay, programming language only recognize number. Programming language only recognize number. Okay, only recognize number. Contohnya 1, 2, 1.2, negative 10. Alright, 0.11235. Okay, so our computer only recognize this number. Believe it or not, you go to your IDE, coba type any number. For example, number 10. And then try to execute it. Okay, execute. When I say execute, sama meaning dengan run lah. Coba you try run this cell. Okay, how to run this cell? Pertama menggunakan run button on top of here, ataupun menggunakan shortcut Shift Enter. Okay, so cuba guna Shift Enter. So we run that cell. Okay, nampak tak? Bila saya run, you can see the cell has been successfully run without an error, correct? Dan akan muncul number dekat dalam bracket ni. This number representing the sequence of when we run these cells. Okay, setiap kali saya run, contoh saya run sekali lagi, sequence number dia akan naik, betul tak? Okay, dia menunjukkan sequence. So ada dua cell dekat sini, input and output cell. Okay, output need to show the value that we are invoking. Sometimes the program ataupun the expression, ini adalah benda yang you type di sini adalah expression. Okay, we call this as an expression. Okay, any statement that you write. Contoh, print 1. Ini adalah to display the value of 1. Ini adalah expression. Okay, display 1 itu adalah expression, integer expression. Integer expression. Okay, alright. So here the expression adalah integer 10. So this kind of expression asking the computer to display the output. So sebab tu dia akan display number 10. Okay. So because there is no error and you can see the number here, means that we successfully run that cell. Okay. So try other numbers, maybe 10.1. Shift enter. Boleh run kan? Means that our programming language can recognize this. Okay, so I want to be straightforward here. So in programming, you see there is a value, right? Sekejap, saya nak arrange sikit supaya senang macam mana kedudukan yang sesuai ni. Sekejap. Bla bla bla, sini ke sini? This one. Okay, wait. Yeah. Something like this. Okay, maybe I can type like this. Okay. Yeah. Oh, ini lebih senang. Okay. Okay, mana tadi? Expression. This is here. This is over here. Okay, like this. Ini baru sudah. Mana tadi? Okay, expression. Okay. Okay, I've said to you, our computer, our program, our computer language, they're working with the value, right? So in programming, there are two types of value. Pertama tadi adalah number, betul tak? Number tadi 1, 2, 0.5, whatever, -1. So this is a number. Okay. And the number also can be categorized into two data types. Okay. Yang pertama adalah integer. We call it as int in Python. Okay, representing integer value. Apa contoh integer number? Sebagai contoh, 1, 2, -1, 100, 1001. So all numbers without decimal places adalah integer value. Okay, and usually the integer values are representing something, a number of students, betul tak? A number of staff. Ada 10 orang dekat company saya. Dia tak ada kita cakap, oh, number of student yang datang hari ini 10.1. Siapa 0.1 tu? Betul tak? So it's a exact nombor bulat kita panggil dalam bahasa Melayu. Okay? Alright, so this is integer pertama. Yang kedua adalah float. Ini adalah mewakili real number. Siapa yang belajar C++ sebelum ni, you learn about double, correct? They are same with double. Okay, any number that has a decimal places ataupun dia ada significant values. Sebagai contoh 10.1, 10.0, -1.2. So dia mewakili a real number. For example, if I want to say what is the length of the table? 10.1 meter. Baru sesuai. Betul tak? Okay, so make sure you understand this data type. Ini adalah jenis data type untuk number. We call this as a data type. Ya. data type untuk number. Data type for number. In order to check the data type, you can always like this. You boleh menggunakan satu command ataupun keyword we call as type. Type situ. Then specify the number inside that parenthesis. Ini kita panggil parenthesis. Okay. Oh, contoh saya, macam mana saya nak add cell dekat bawah dia? Kan, saya tiba-tiba nak tulis benda banyak dekat bawah ni kan? So how can I add cells there? Easy. So make sure, sekarang ni kalau kita tengok dekat tepi ni, if you see on the left here, nampak tak box ni dalam warna hijau, betul tak? The green color indicating you are in the edit mode in that particular cell. Means that you are dalam nak type something. If you click somewhere outside here, contoh you click somewhere here, okay, so you see it's in the blue color here, correct? So the blue color indicate that you are in the select mode of the cell. Select mode. So in select mode, okay, baru saya boleh add a new cell either on top of it or on the bottom of it. Okay, to add new cell on top of it, so saya gunakan shortcut button saja. Okay, if on top of this cell, saya gunakan tekan button A. Nampak tak? Saya tambah satu cell dekat atas. Okay, kalau saya nak tambah cell dekat bawah dia, tekan button B. Highlight this cell dalam bentuk select mode dan tekan B. Saya nak tambah banyak, so tekan banyak. Saya nak delete cell ni. Macam mana? Tekan delete button, tak boleh. Saya kena tekan D, button D 2 kali. Type, tekan button D, make sure this is in select mode, tekan D 2 kali tepat. Dia akan delete that particular cell. Okay? Alright, so apa tadi? Oh, type. Okay. So type ini adalah keyword. Okay. So later we learn about the keyword. Okay. So when I put the values number 10 inside here, 10 ni nombor apa? Integer or float number? Ideal. Ideal ada. Saya ada nampak. What is the number 10 represent? Apa dia punya data type tadi?
Integer.
Integer, okay, correct. So when you run this cell, shift enter, you will see your computer, your program will return the data type dia apa. Okay, ini sebenarnya type 10 ni sebenarnya ini just to show to you some action that you can use. Okay, actually dalam programming sebenar not necessary lah type ni, tapi just I want to show you to check. So if I use decimal places 0.0 for example, so it will return you float as the output. Okay, so nampak tak data type dia adalah either float ataupun kalau dia integer dia akan return integer lah. The next thing adalah how about if I want to naming the apa nama ni? Name the apa nama ni? If I want to make some sort of text, value tak semestinya number, betul tak? Okay, the value could be a text. Contoh, what is your name? Your name is not the value, correct? Your name is not a number, but it's a value, betul? Okay, so that is what we call as a text ataupun character. Sometimes it's denoted as a char. Okay, short form bagi character. And the data type in Python, we call this as a string. Short form is str, representing string. However, my favorite car, Tesla, for example. I want to write Tesla in my programming. Tesla is a value. So let's try here. Type Tesla and run. You will see there is an error over there. Because as I mentioned earlier in our lecture, programming language only recognize number. Okay, so what we can do in order for our program to recognize this as a value? Of course, we cannot make this value text ni sebagai nombor, betul tak? Memang kita tak boleh buat lah. Tapi dia ada specific punctuation that we can use to ensure this is a value. So that punctuation adalah the quotation marks. Either double quotation marks ataupun single quotation marks. Kedua-duanya sama. There doesn't have any difference in Python. Jangan compare dengan C++. C++ different meanings. In Python, they are the same. So, to assign, to declare ataupun bukan to declare, apa namanya? To ensure, to make the computer recognize this as a text value. So what you can type is, you have to put the either single quotation marks there. So it bounded by this, like this. So when I run shift enter, you see, nampak tak? Baru kita boleh run. Baru tak ada error. Okay. So when I check data type dia, contoh type. Okay, make sure this is inside here. Okay, shift enter, you will see it written string, str. Okay, because this is not a number. Okay, so this is important, another thing. Okay, so please bear in mind this thing. A number can be converted into string. Okay, but a string, a text, not string, a text character cannot converted into number. Okay, so maksudnya, contoh integer 10, I can convert it into string 10. Boleh? String 10, I can convert it into number back. Boleh? Ini boleh? Ini boleh? Okay, but a string, contoh BMW, convert into number. Memang macam mana nak convert number ni, tak boleh kan? Number, ini number lah. Memang tak boleh lah. Okay, so kalau number, kalau integer ni jadi string, maksudnya kita tak boleh treat dia sebagai number sudah. Okay, kalau 10 tambah 10 berapa jawapannya? 20, correct? But if string tambah string jadi 10, 10. Sebab ini dia bukan maksud tambah. We cannot tambah 2 string. Ini adalah, kalau tak boleh cuba. Cuba kita tengok, mana tahu saya tu silap tu. Okay. So string 10 tambah kan. So in exam, be aware on this kind of question. That's why I said the fundamental is important. Sebab tu bila orang tanya 1 tambah 1 jadi 11 boleh tak? Boleh. Boleh kan? Agree with me? Hanya programmer dia boleh selesaikan. 1 tambah 1 11 lah. Siapa kata tak boleh? String 11. Tadi kita kata string 11. String 1 tambah string 1 jadi string 11. Okay. So, kalau ini kita panggil the concatenation, tapi ini advanced level lah. So, in the future I will teach you that part. Okay, concatenation. Right? Okay, so now you see this is a kind of variable. So, dalam number, okay, dia ada dalam values dia ada 2, number and text, ya. And then the data type for that one, untuk text dia panggil string. Untuk number either integer or float. Okay, so that's it. Easy. So dalam programming, kita tak buat. Okay, for example, add these two numbers. 1 plus 10, for example, equal to, we know the answer will be 11. But in programming, this is not our intention. We want our program to be able to be manipulated throughout the program. So that's why this value have to be stored in variables. Okay, variables. So what is a variable? There's something there. So what is a variable? So let us see the definition of variable here. Okay. Variable is a memory allocation created by the programmer to store the value. Okay, because throughout the program, we want to do the manipulation with the variables. Okay, so kalau dekat sini lebih detail lagi dia punya ni. Okay, sometimes we call this as a programmer define identifier. What is meant by programmer? Programmer is you. Define identifier. You that define the name of the variable. You can make any name of that variable, but that name must be suitable. For example, I want to express the number of students from section 2, how many of them, and then I want to add the number of students from section 3, you guys, and then I want to get the sum of it. So what is the best name of the variable to show that this is the number from student section 1 and section 2, this is number from student section 3. Okay, so ada cara dia, nanti kita learn on that. Okay, so try to imagine that we want to add two numbers, as I mentioned just now. Okay, so let's do. Okay, so we have to assign that values. So the process of assigning the value is X. For example, the variable name is X. Okay, and I assign the value because I want to add two numbers, 10 plus 11. I want to do this. Okay, but in programming, okay, bukan ini cara yang betul. Even though you get the result, but this is not the intention of having a program. Kalau tak, bagus kita guna calculator, correct? Okay, it's better to use a calculator instead of ni. Kan? Ya. Okay, so what we need to do, we put this value into the variables. So katakan the first variable is to store the value number 10. Okay, so nampak tak statement ini? Ini adalah programming statement. Okay, assignment statement to be exact. Okay, spell like this. X equal to 10 maksudnya assign value of 10 into variable X. That is the meaning. It's not just like a simple math. Oh, X jadikan X 10. X equal to 10. It's not like that. Kalau tak, nanti you confuse dalam program the next clause that I'm gonna use in other fundamental. Okay, so assign value of X. Maksudnya you store value of 10 equal to X, betul tak? Okay, so let's do the next. Okay, another one I assign the value of Y equal to 11, correct? Okay, and then katakan Z equal to X plus 1. So dekat sini saya ada 3 variable. Variable X, variable Y, and variable Z. Variable Z storing the result of this arithmetic operation. To be detailed, this is called as a additional operation lah, betul tak? We add the value of X, Y. So apakah value Z? 21 lah kan, betul tak? So when I run this cell, mana value dia? Kan, mana value dia? Because you are not called for that value. You tak call dia. Sebab tu dia kena ada satu action. So dekat bawah ni you tambah lagi Z dekat bawah tu. Okay. Baru dia akan show you the value. Ataupun you can put at any cell. So Z dekat sini. Nampak tak? Sama juga. Okay. You can type ni dah satu sel, ni satu sel, tapi buang masa lah. Banyak sangat sel tak bagus juga. Kalau boleh buat dalam satu. And then apa result you nak tengok. So kalau ini, this is assignment process. Okay. So mungkin di tepi dia, kadang-kadang programmer, dia nak buat nota. Dia nak buat note apa yang dia buat dekat sini. Contoh. Right? But you don't want the program to read that statement. Kita panggil sebagai comment. Dalam buku ada cerita pasal comment. So you can use symbol. Orang muda-muda cakap ini simbol hashtag. Tapi dalam programming dia adalah kita panggil pound symbol ataupun sharp symbol. Dalam music sharp. Okay, C sharp, F sharp. If you play music, you know these notes. And sharp dia set lain sikit bunyi. Okay, dalam programming kita panggil sebagai pound. Dalam social media kita panggil sebagai hashtag. Tapi jangan saya tengok dalam test ada hashtag, please. Terus kosong tu. Termarkap. Sharp boleh lagi lah. Hashtag, wah, social media sangat. Janganlah. Okay, so please, this is a pound. So anything that you wrote in that line with the pound symbol will not be read by your compiler, will not be decoded by your interpreter. Okay, dia adalah just a comment saja. So katakan I want to comment here. Assign value 10 into variable x. Something like this. Okay. So anything that you put here, it not been read by the computer. Just a note for you. You boleh type apa saja. So takkan ada error. Okay. So maybe you can copy paste this one and put here. Maybe. Okay. Maybe this is 11 into variable y. Yeah. Dan skip, kita boleh indent. Okay. So ini adalah calculation process. Ini adalah invoking value of z. Okay. Nampak tak? Setiap statement ini ada dia punya tujuan, betul tak? Tujuan yang pertama untuk kita assign value of 10 into variable x. Okay. Untuk yang ni tujuan dia untuk assign value of y equal to 11. Yang ni untuk kita calculate. Yang ni untuk kita tunjukkan value x z itu apa. Kalau saya stop dekat sini, tahu tak kenapa tak ada value z keluar? Sebab you see, if I write this, tak ada value yang keluar, betul tak? Sebab you tak tanya program tu value apa. So that's why if I provide the z here, so dia akan bagilah result tu. What's the value? Okay, alright. Okay, so this is the most simplest one, but we are going to use this from time to time. Okay, so you see the name of variables. Bila saya nak namingkan variable, perasan tak? Dia ada guidelines dia. Dekat buku nota pun ada. Dia tak payah salin atau nak screenshot pun terpulang. The name of the variable should start either with letter or underscore. You cannot start with a number. Okay, you can start with a character ataupun the letter lah, paling senang, words ya. The letter ataupun underscore. Number tak boleh. Sebagai contoh, kita boleh tengok. Contoh saya nak assign satu variable name num. Okay, katakan num. Num all text tak ada masalah lah, betul. Okay, sometimes kita nak contoh num ni adalah number yang pertama. So I set num 1. Boleh? Okay, the first number contoh saya nak gunakan variable. Okay, so num1 equal to 10. Contoh, shift enter. Boleh kan? Tak, you can see the result. Maksudnya you run this without an error, correct? Okay, contoh saya letakkan number apa ya? Num instead of di belakang, saya letak di depan. Cuba run, shift enter. You see there is an error there. We call as a syntax error. Okay, syntax error ni macam grammar lah. Okay, contohnya you type letter, right? You make a karangan. You letak simbol, contoh punctuation, you letak suka hati, dah lain maksud dia, betul tak? Sometimes it's error. ataupun you letak huruf besar sesuka hati. So itu maksud dia dah misinterpret the value, the result. Sama juga dengan you cannot put number in front of the variable name. Okay, if let's say you want that number to be part of the variable name, but you can put it at the back. But if I want to use underscore, boleh. Underscore boleh. Okay. But sometimes we want to provide something like this. Instead of num1 like this, kan? Kadang-kadang kita nak nampak dia macam ada space, betul tak? Betul? You nak dia num1, so contohnya macam, contoh instead of num, kita gunakan variable total number of student lah, total student, betul? Saya nak total student section 3, contoh. So I use the variable total student. Okay, so nampak ada space ni, cuba run. There will be definitely an error. Okay, because if you see the slide, the books that you have, I already mentioned here. Okay, the reminding character can consist letter, number, and underscore, but they cannot have a space between the name like this. So, macam mana kita nak buat space juga, contoh. So, memang tak boleh space, tapi ada banyak teknik. Contoh, you boleh gunakan huruf besar dekat tengah-tengah. Betul tak? Ini salah satu teknik lah. Okay, ini tak ada masalah. Ataupun saya boleh gunakan underscore, betul? Okay, you can use underscore. Hit enter, run. Okay? Ataupun apa atau lagi? Boleh tak saya gunakan space ni? Apa nama ni? Ni apa nama ni ya? Minus punya simbol. Tak boleh ni. Nampak tak warna tu? Maksudnya dia ada specific function. Nampak tak warna ni? We cannot use this as a character. Okay? So hanya underscore saja boleh tunjukkan space. Maksudnya itu satu karakter. Macam tu dia. Okay, that is rule of naming the variables. And satu lagi terms yang kita guna to define the variable adalah case sensitive. Name are case sensitive. For example, katakan saya jadikan num equal to 10. Dan satu lagi num equal to 11. Kita tengok sana karakter n tu saya gunakan huruf besar, betul tak? Okay, so try to execute this statement. Okay, now you already assign. So cuba check num tu apa value dia. Num huruf kecil. 10 kan? Sebab memang 10 should enter, betul tak? Okay, cuba gunakan n huruf besar. 20, betul tak? Even though they are the same word, but they are different character. Okay, so that's why penggunaan huruf besar, capital letter is very case sensitive. So they are different character. Okay, the word is same, betul tak? Word the same. Word dia adalah noun, but the character is different because one without a capital letter N, one is with a capital letter N. Okay, ini yang defined by this term lah. Name are case sensitive with uppercase and lowercase. Okay, alright. Lepas ni kita buat example terus ya. I prefer to use example. Okay, itu adalah variable. Okay, so as you can see here, ada 5 komponen you kena understand to write the program. Kita dah cover variable, betul tak? From data tadi, data ada 2 jenis data type. Pertama adalah untuk number, could be integer ataupun float. Untuk karakter ataupun teks could be string. Okay? So, the second element that we are going to learn is the keywords. So, what is a keywords? Okay? So, keyword, another words to represent keyword adalah reserve word. So, you see the word reserve. Maksudnya, word tu dah reserved by the Python interpreter. It dah been reserved to do the specific task. Remember this word. The keyword here is the specific task. Sebagai contoh, keyword print. Okay, cuba kita copy paste, cuba kita buat code yang simple. Okay, along that way, boleh tak kita buat satu case study? Okay, I want to demonstrate this using a case study. Can I? Okay, we use a case study to demonstrate this. Apa tak boleh solve? Okay, sekejap. Okay, I use a case study. A simple case study lah. Kita buat simple case study. So, right, oops. Oh. Okay. Make sure you guys memang boleh coding ya untuk section ni. Sebab nanti you akan tengok, wih, banyak lagi benda baru. Next week, benda baru lagi. Lepas tu benda baru. Kalau you lost this week, kalau boleh you record. Okay, you follow balik. And nanti saya akan bagi quiz. Hantar bila you guys nak? Hari Jumaat lah. Boleh tak? Kena hantar Khamis juga. Hari Jumaat lah ya. Hari Jumaat atau Sabtu lah nanti saya bagi. So you ada masa. Tapi senang. If you can do what I teach you today, you can do for that quiz. Okay? So, case study 1 ni simple. So, write a program. Create a program to add, to multiply lah. Two numbers. Okay, we want to multiply two numbers. Okay, so apa benda yang kita kena buat first? Strategi dia adalah apakah proses? Okay, first you have to know the question that you have to ask yourself, what is the process required? Okay, and then define the variable to solve the problem. So, I know that I equal to J times K. Kan? Kalau saya nak add multiply two numbers, betul tak? Can I use this? Boleh kan? Cuba kita namakan variable tu lebih cantik. Contohnya, I equal to num1 representing the first number, correct? Times num2. Boleh tak? Okay, so this is the process that required to solve the problem. So, ini adalah proses that required. And this is the variable that I use. So, kalau kita tengok, this is my input variable, correct? By having these two, baru saya boleh calculate I. Am I right? Okay, I is the output variable. So this is the process. So dalam programming, ada 3 core business that you have to know. What is your output variables? what is your input variable, and then what is the process undergo. Biasa kita akan determine proses dahulu. Lepas tu baru you identify either what is the output and then what's the input. Ini the right structured way. Okay, so the next things that we are going to do adalah, okay, I know my intention is to make a program, betul tak? So, ingat tak kelas sebelumnya saya ajar algoritma. Ya, ada dua algoritma, correct? Sama ada mau menggunakan pseudocode ataupun flowchart. Okay, and when this is your design tools, yeah. Okay. Soalan flowchart pseudocode tak pernah tak ada dalam test. Itu saya nak beritahu. Okay, mesti ada guna. Kalau tak ada tu bukan programming. Okay, mesti ada. And then the complexity of the problem varies. Saya takkan dia sesimpel example, right? Problem kita tak dalam test you takkan jumpa lah nak solve this kind of problem. Sorry lah. Okay, memang tak ada lah ya. Tapi kita akan design dia sedikit mencabar dia punya minda. Okay. So, you guys dah belajar structure analysis tak? Structure analysis, nak tanya. You guys tengah belajar tak sekarang?
Ada.
Bila ambil fit? Bila?
Sem ni.
Oh, sem ni, I see. Okay. Sebab you punya apa nama ni? Project is something related with structure analysis. Okay. Influence line. Boleh bayang-bayangkan dulu influence line tu apa. Cuba you guys bayang-bayang, tengok-tengok balik. Itu adalah the last chapters dalam you punya structure analysis. Okay, so be ready. Setakat ni itu adalah topik baru. Okay, semua akan buat benda yang sama, but you cannot copy each other because I can trace that. Okay, so kita akan bincang itu kemudian lepas test 1. Okay, lepas test 1. I think lepas test 1 kita mungkin ada 2 atau 3 lecture lagi kot. Lepas tu kita habis. Okay, 2 atau 3 lecture. So easy for you to do the project, but please do as fast as you can. Saya nak bagi markah bagus untuk student, tapi bagi saya benda yang bagus lah ya. Okay, I want to give you good, but give me a good thing. Itu je. Okay, you give me something good, then I will definitely give you a good one. Ya. Itu je. Okay, alright, continue. Siapa ada tengok movie baru-baru ni? Eternal. Ada tengok? Movie baru release. Oh,
ada.
Siapa tengok? Kabilan.
Yes, sir.
Kabilan, why you not join the WhatsApp group? Sorry to ask about you. You contact me just now, right?
Yes.
Please join. You are local, Kabilan? Local, right?
Yes.
Please, siapa nama ni? Lizzie.
I already entered. So
anything I will communicate to that group. Anyway, regarding the internal, what's the review? What's your review? What do you think?
Overall, it was good, sir. Action packed.
You're good. Yes, sir. I don't like that. Sorry to say.
Most of them don't like Doctor.
Yeah. Because you see, after I finish watch that movie, then I give my rating myself lah. Ini lebih kurang 5/10 lah. So mean that 50 lah. Then I check the Rotten Tomato punya review kritik. Betul. 53. Okay. But I watched Sanchi. So Sanchi, I said not less than 80. So the result is 93. Rotten Tomato punya review. So you see the way I'm grading is quite standard lah. So that's why if I grade your marks, memang itulah dia. And actually if people grade you, maybe better. So if you can score good with me, memang terbaik lah tu. Believe me or not. Okay. So actually Eternal tu kenapa saya tak suka, sorry to spoil that because memang saya tak puas hati lah bayar tiket mahal lah. Dia macam cerita Power Rangers je. You watch Power Rangers? Yang movie tu, aduh hai. The words, the use, the chronology of the movies, the logical of the movies. Logik tak apalah, tapi the chronology, the character. Okay. Angelina Jolie macam tak ada peranan sangat. If you watch the trivia, if you watch the trailer, wah, macam hebat ke. So that's why people say don't judge movie by its trailer, not book anymore. Don't judge the movie by its trailer. Itu dia. Because last time Sanchi, before I watch, I'm quite skeptical. Ini pelakon macam tak terkenal kan. But when I watch, wah hebat. The choreography, the way the character move, wah, the storyline, okay lah. Okay, so please watch Sanchi. Tapi kalau nak juga watch Eternal tu, silakan lah. Okay, sorry, I'm not kritik apa, tapi biarlah ini dalam kelas kita sembang. Okay, kalau tak saya dah tengok dah 2-3 orang tersungkur, macam ni dah dekat Twitter. Okay, so itu iklan sikit. Okay, nanti pukul 4 lebih kita rehat for 5 minit saya. Okay, hari ni saya kena cover banyak sikit topik. Ya, kalau tak nanti panjang kita ni, nanti takut terlalu lambat untuk kita catch up. So kalau ada masa kita boleh revise balik some of the things. Ya. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so design tools. Okay, mana tadi? Okay, alright. So you see, when I do the program, I have to I have to design a specific solution. Okay, sama juga bila when you work as civil engineer, right? My computer get some sound. So when you become a civil engineer, before you can construct the building, what do? You design the structure, right? You design the structure, you design everything. Architect, dia akan design that architecture value of that particular buildings or structures. Yeah. So we have to do sama juga dalam programming. We have to design the solution to solve the problem. Now the problem is to add 2 numbers. It seems simple, but believe me, from here you will expand this idea. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, let's start with a flowchart. Okay. So I want to solve the problem. So you see the terminologies of the algorithm adalah the sequence, the logical sequence to solve the problem, correct? Okay. So you see, every time you start the flowchart, make sure you start with the terminal. Still remember the one that I teach you before, terminal. Okay. And that terminal name as, bukan terminal lah, start. To indicate the beginning of the program. Okay, to indicate the beginning of the program. Okay. So, and then, what is the things that require? You try to think as a computer. Saya nak selesaikan problem. Saya tahu proses dia. Next, apa saya kena buat? I can gather the input, correct? Okay, I can gather the inputs. Okay, so to gather the input is, so input you require a specific shape. Dalam flowchart you kena gunakan shape untuk input. Okay, input and output process use the same shape. So sekarang ni input saya, katakanlah number ini mesti integer. 2 integer number. Katakan dia integer number. Let's say it's integer number. Okay. So, integer number. So, I have to specify here int. Int, indicating that variable must be in integer. Dekat sini saya dah tahu dah. Oh, your punya intention adalah to gather the input for num1. Betul tak? Ini adalah input, betul? Okay, yang second adalah num2. So, ada satu cara nak tulis dia adalah mungkin like this ataupun buat sekali lagi int 6. Okay. Okay, next. Lepas saya ambil input, apa yang saya boleh buat? Can I calculate the I? Saya dah masuk ke input 1, I can input 2, can I calculate I? Boleh kan? So the next process is to compute, correct? So the computation, the process, the calculation must be indicating by shape rectangular, correct? So you have to use the shape rectangular here. Setiap section, setiap shape representing a different action. Okay, now in this case, action dia adalah input. Ini adalah action dia adalah to process the variables, manipulating the variables. Okay, so here you can put just I equal to num1 multiplied by num2. Okay. The variable, you see the variable name here. It must follow the standard ataupun the right format of the variable. As I mentioned earlier, must be not start with a number, should start with the character, the text, the letter, okay, and you shouldn't have any symbol. Okay, that's follow, the rules should be followed. Okay. So lepas saya compute ni, apa yang saya nak buat? Saya nak display the result, correct? Of course lah, kalau macam ni je, dan kita tak dapat tengok berapa result, betul? So I want to see the result. So the output is representing by this shape, correct? So in this case, I can use this shape, and then maybe kita letak sedikit keyword dekat sini. Display what? Display I. So I know that you want to display the value of I. Okay, and then our goal finish lah. Okay, finish, jangan stop sini. You have to close. So you have to close with terminal. Okay, so you see this kind of flowchart, berapa markah yang boleh dapat? Ini macam ni 5 markah awarded to you. Start ada, end ada, you dah dapat 1 markah. The rest is for the thing inside here. Understand? So the rest adalah untuk yang di dalam. Okay, dia depend on complexity of the inside here. Tapi start ada, end ada, dah ada 1 markah. So whatever you do, you have to have start and end. Okay, kalau you tak ada start and end, I already know you tak tahu buat flowchart. No matter how genuine your solution, without start and end, you're fundamentally wrong. Okay, so must have. Kenapa kena ada terminal start and end? Sebab you see previously dalam when we design the program, it must be finiteness. Ingat tak? Dia mesti ada start and end dia. Dia tak boleh tergantung. Sebab tu dia kena ada ending dia. Okay. Alright. So the second algorithm that we are going to use adalah pseudocode. Okay, so pseudocode we use English-like language, a semi-formal English-like language. Kalau you express this sentence, contoh input variable num1 as integer. Ini English-like language kan? Ini sentence, ini dah full sentence, correct? Okay, memang the English language, tapi dia bukan semi-formal. Dia adalah formal kind of language. So you see, when you design the pseudocode, it must be something like this. You also need the terminal. You can start with begin. You can start with start, tak ada masalah. I just use another similar words to indicating that you're starting the program. Okay, you can use any other, asalkan saya tahu, oh ini start. Okay, tapi kalau you guna mula, boleh tak? Tak boleh. Kenapa Fikri agak-agak?
Sebab dia bukan English.
Right. Yes, correct. Exactly. Okay, because it's not an English like language. Okay, correct. Okay. So let's use begin. Let's use begin. And then this is indicating the terminal, and then use ini yang mean. How to express this action? Kalau dalam flowchart, the action is expressed by the shape of the flowchart. Kalau dalam pseudocode, it must be expressed by the keyword. So in this case, I can use enter. Ataupun use input pun boleh terpulang. Okay, enter int num1. Okay, nampak tak word dia? Simple. Okay. Yang kedua, copy je lah. Enter int num2. So ini adalah expression for this. Okay. So the next, to express this, so the action here is to compute. I can use the keyword compute to express that, correct? So kita gunakan word calculate maybe. Okay, compute pun boleh, calculate pun boleh. So calculate. Boleh tak saya letak calculate and then I equal to num1 times num2. Boleh tak macam ni? Tak boleh kan? Ini tak boleh kan? Okay, dia mesti, sebab ini maksud lain nanti. You will learn that in the next chapter, the next chapter. It's not applicable here. Okay, so that one later we will learn. So make sure you provide I equal to num1 times num2. The same line with the action words. Okay. So this one is this one. Okay. Now for display, how to represent that? Okay. So dekat sini, maybe I can use word display. I can use the word display. Use word ataupun print. I use the word display lah. So display I sudah. Go. Okay. And then end it. Okay, cuba tengok apa lagi satu benda yang kita boleh tengok dekat sini. Nampak tak everything in the same line ni, betul tak? Saya tak, memang mungkin dia tak sama line sangat, tapi taklah saya buat begin, enter. Ini salah. You have to make it the same line. Bila ada situasi ni, dia maksud lain nanti. Okay, itu kita panggil indentation. You will learn that later. Okay, ini dah maksud lain. Okay, so in this case, if you do like this, it's wrong. Okay, all right. So now we finish. We have the simple algorithm. Okay. Now it's time for us to do the coding. Okay, now it's time for us to do the coding. Okay. So tadi kita dah belajar tentang variable. So dekat sini antara variable yang kita guna adalah I, num dengan num2, correct? Okay, ada 3 variable kat sini. So, in some cases, for example here, we have to assign this as a integer, betul tak? Kita kena enforce dia jadi integer. So, in order to enforce that, kita perlukan a keyword. So, itu yang kita kena faham tentang keywords. Okay. Contoh saya nak print result ni. Okay, display the value of I. Saya nak gunakan function print. So ini adalah keyword dalam Python. So kita switch a little bit different here. Contoh, ya. So I will maybe I can show something. Ya. 6, bukan 6 lah. Total student. Contoh ya. Okay. Simple je. So katakan saya nak display the result of the total student. So I can use print, yeah, and put it there the variable that I use today. Okay. So when I run this, nampak tak? Value dia saya akan print, correct? Okay, nampak tak perbezaan antara dua ni? Contoh saya type balik total student. Kalau saya gunakan function print, nampak tak? Nombor ni appear bukan dekat output box, correct? Tapi kalau saya type balik variable tu, dia akan appearkan nombor ni dalam output punya cell. Kenapa? Because the function of the print is to display the value that you have in that particular bracket, parenthesis. Okay, sebelum saya go further, I just want to highlight this thing. Ini, you guys jangan type, tak payah, tapi just take a note. Ini maksudnya parenthesis. This is we call as parent. P-A-R-E-N-T-H-I-S. Ini kita panggil sebagai square bracket. Ini kita panggil sebagai curly bracket. Supaya nanti you guys tak confused bila saya sebut square bracket, parenthesis, curly bracket. And each of these ada fungsi tertentu. Tak boleh digunakan sesuka hati. Suka hati kita je nak letak square bracket, tak boleh. Okay, dia ada maksud dia. Okay, they have their own function. Okay, alright. So, can I wrap this? Okay, saya padam Okay. Okay, so dekat sini nampak tak? It bounded by the parenthesis. Some of the keyword, dia require this parenthesis. Supaya dia boleh, kalau dulu ini dulu Python 2. Sekarang ni kita guna Python 3 tau. Kalau Python 2, saya boleh type print total student just like this. Sekarang ni dia tak bagi. Benda you run, I don't think maybe error ataupun tak betul syntax ni. Okay, so don't do this. So ini lebih readable. Okay, so kalau kita tengok bila saya use the print function ataupun keyword, okay, dia bukan represent this as output, tetapi dia display whatever value that you provide. Kalau dekat sini adalah value that you already store in the total student variable, correct? Because you already input number 10 into the variable student, betul tak? To the student. Katakanlah saya letak print apa ni? Tae Heng Yo. Okay, just name Tae Heng Yo. T-E-R. Yeah, no, I just use it. Yeah. Tae Heng Yo. So, yeah. So if I provide this, so you see, nampak tak? Baru kita boleh. It will print. Kalau saya letak Tae Heng Yo saja, Tae Heng Yo, dia akan muncul dalam output, correct? So itu print adalah for me to display the values. And I even can say something like this. Tadi saya dah ada variable total student 10 kan? Okay, I even can say something like this. I make a sentence. The total number of student is Saya nak letakkan total ni. Whenever I change dia akan tukar nanti. So is, and then I provide some sort of comma here, and then total student. Kat atas dia kita letak some sort of, kita copy paste lah ni ya. Okay, I copy paste this one. Boleh dia. Okay. So nampak tak? Ini string value, correct? Ini adalah integer value, correct? Variable that containing integer value, correct? Ini adalah string value. So, I want to print these two different values. Pertama string dengan dia punya, apa nama ni? What is this? This is, so that later on I will print the total number of student is 10. Something like that. Total number of. So let's run, you see? And make this kind of sentence. Whenever I change, for example, 11 here, when I run again, so you see the total number of students are 11. So I can change it later. Okay? Alright, so you see the keyword print here play a specific role. Am I right? Okay, and I cannot use print as the variable. Sebab tu dekat kita punya ni, if you see, they are reserved word that cannot be used as a variable or function name. You cannot assign print equal to 1. Tak boleh. Jangan run, please. Jangan run. Okay, you cannot do this. Okay, because print is the keyword. It has a specific function. Kalau you buat macam ni, maksudnya you assign print ni bukan untuk print lagi dia punya tujuan. Tujuan dia adalah untuk simpan nombor 1. So dah kacau you punya sistem. Please don't do this. Okay. But whenever you make a mistake, you jangan takut. Okay, you punya komputer takkan rosak. Dia risau ya, you punya program takkan terus crash. Okay, what you can do, you go to the top here. That's why kalau ada student yang crash, make sure you boleh share you punya screen nanti supaya kita boleh settlekan you punya problem. And we learn from that kind of example. So let's say you run, lepas tu crash. So either you interrupt that, contoh ini macam ada crash, macam okay, dia simbol asterisk tau. Simbol asterisk kat sini maksudnya dia tak boleh read. So you always can run this interrupt button. Ataupun if let's say, alamak banyaknya ni, I want to start everything. So go to kernel, restart and clear output. So everything will be restarted. Okay, you see there is no number kan? So maksudnya cell ni dah restart. So the cell only activate when you run this cell again. So for example, I don't want to run from the top, I just want to run this one. Okay, can shift enter, you see the number will restart one here. Because everything will be restarted. Okay, so don't worry if you make a problem. Whenever mula-mula you letak 11 tapi print jadi 13, maybe something happened. Okay, so you just go to kernel and then restart it. But if you have encountered a problem when you during the lecture, please share the screen with us. Allow me to help you and other friends to help you. Okay? Okay, mana kita tadi? Tambah sikit kat bawah. Okay, apa kita tadi? Oh, variable. Bukan, keywords. Okay, so ini contoh keyword, import, type, and there are a lot of other keywords. Okay, here, list of the valuable keywords. Ada banyak lagi, ada dan. Sebab dia ada keyword yang di dalam packages. Ini advance lah. Kalau saya sempat ajar you guys advance ni, saya boleh ajar. Okay, keywords dalam packages. Di mana kita tak tahu itu keyword pun. Of course, you will learn that later. No worry. Next week. Ada satu part nanti, I will teach you that part. Okay. So, you cannot use them as a variable, ya. Okay, maksudnya ini ada specific function there. Elif, as, and, if, else. Okay, all these we are going to use later on in other chapters. Not semua lah, ada certain kita tak pakai pun. Right. So now I want to show you the example. Okay, kita tengok satu lagi part. Okay. Other component is operators. Okay, before I do the example, before I go to the name, operators, apa dia operators? So a symbol that tells the interpreter to perform mathematical operation. Ingat, operators ni ada dua tujuan Sama ada untuk mathematical operation ataupun logical evaluation. The two different things. Mathematical operation menggunakan arithmetic operators. 1 tambah 1, 2. Itu mathematical operation. Okay, itu adalah arithmetic operation. And we group them as arithmetic operators. Okay, another one is assignment operators. Standalone assignment operators. Nampak tak? Okay, so assignment operators, we always use that. Ini assignment. That's why we call this as a assignment expression ataupun assignment process. Correct? As I mentioned to you just now. Betul tak? Dia adalah assignment. Bukan equal to. Because the equal to symbol adalah wait. Adalah ni. And the result is different. Okay? I want to ask, 1 greater than 2. Apa possible result? True or false? If I say 1 greater than 2. False lah kan? 1 is smaller than 2, correct? Okay, if let's say A equal to 11, B equal to 11, A equal to 11, betul tak? A equal to 11, B equal to 11, A equal to B. True or false?
True.
So that thing's what we call as a logical evaluation. And to perform that also we need these two operators, relational and logical operator. Okay? So ada dua ni yang kita boleh guna. Ini kita cerita nanti. Don't worry. So back on to our problem just now, we want to create a program to multiply two numbers kan? Nampak tak? Saya ada gunakan simbol operators multiplication here, correct? So because we want to perform arithmetic operators, saya gunakan simbol apa ni? Assignment operators, am I right? Okay, I have these operators here. These are two operators. Okay, so ini adalah variable tadi. Variable. Okay. Then the last one adalah ada satu lagi punctuation. Later I will cover what is punctuation. Boleh? Okay, so let's solve for this problem. Kita nak selesaikan problem ini. Okay, so in this case, I want to merge these two things supaya you boleh nampak how can I code based on flowchart. So let me remind you again. In exam, if you make a wrong flowchart, but you make a right coding, I can smell something wrong. Faham tak? Flowchart salah, coding betul pula. Flowchart pergi bulan. Coding, ikut jalan raya yang lurus, pergi KL. Flowchart dia pergi bulan. Okay, coding dia pergi KL. Something wrong tu. Tapi ada juga macam ni. Flowchart betul, coding silap sikit. Saya boleh terima lah, itu logik sikit. Itu logik. Sebab kadang-kadang kita terlupa keyword and mungkin. Tapi sepatutnya flowchart betul, coding baru betul. Itu penting untuk you guys tahu. So that's why if you lost mark, contoh markah flowchart 15, contoh 15 ya. Ni I just want to tell you. Flowchart you mungkin dapat 10 markah. Potensi coding you akan dapat takkan lebih daripada 10 markah dulu. Let's say if flowchart is 15, your coding is 15. Okay, sebab tu flowchart betul, baru you ada chance dapat markah yang tinggi dekat coding. Okay, jarang ada coding lebih tinggi markah daripada flowchart. The proportion dia. Kadang-kadang markah coding 20, markah flowchart, contoh full mark for coding is 20, full mark for flowchart is 15. So kalau let's say you dapat 10, mungkin dalam coding you dapat mungkin 12, macam tu lah. Proportion dia ada proportion. Okay, so that's why it's important for you to understand the flowchart and pseudocode. Okay, okay, so let's code it using first, to indicating that you start the code, tak payah, ini tak ada dalam coding. You cannot express the start and end dekat coding. Okay, you cannot express it. Paling-paling you boleh buat title for your coding. Okay, tapi itu terpulang you guys lah. Tak perlu lah. Saya nak straight to the point to solve this problem. Okay, so basically we start to code at the second level. Okay, so what I want to say, every component, every action that you provided in the flowchart must represented in the code. Okay, contoh yang pertama ni, integer num1. Okay, so saya create satu num1, contohlah. So you nak number ni berapa? Contoh saya nak add two number, 10 lah. Okay, so num2 equal to 11. Contoh je So katakanlah ini representing integer num1. Saya insert terus value dia. Okay. And then second adalah I equal to num1 times num2. Nampak tak ada space, ada tak space? Boleh tak saya spacekan ni? Boleh, tak ada masalah, tak ada error. Tak ada space, tak ada masalah. Tapi nampak tak lebih cantik kan? Dalam programming, benda yang cantik, senang kita tengok. Okay. So ini representing the process. Okay. So display I, so just use a keyword print here. Okay, sebab print I, ini adalah value I that I already computed. Okay, alright, so I give time to you to type. Okay, lepas kita, wah, belum, you guys nak rehat tak? You guys nak rehat dulu tak? 5 minit lah. Lepas ni, I think I can continue ni. Okay, boleh? Sian you guys, ya, nak pergi tandas, minum air. Okay, 5 minit, okay? So, I see you again at 4:15, yeah? Alright, see you later. Okay, we take rest for 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, semua. Ada orang tak? Okay, switch on camera. Kita mungkin another 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes lah. 30 minutes class, okay? So switch on your camera semua for me to record. Okay, so where are we? Okay, so now we have made just a simple program here. So just execute it. Okay, cuba kita try to execute this program. Oops, sorry. Oops. Okay, so try to execute the program and see what the result. I believe we will get 21. Okay, 110. Sorry, this is multiplication. Sorry, so 110. Okay, so what I want to do is, so you see, every time I want to change the value, okay, I want to change the value. So contoh saya nak 20 times 30. So I have to change it in the code, right? 30, 20, something like this, correct? So ini nampak tak? We have to change the code, baru kita boleh buat. Kita nak satu program that can interact with us. Okay, so for example, when I run this cell, saya nak ada satu text box that can request for my input. Okay, so in this case, I can use a keyword we call as an input keywords. So katakan num1 equal to, okay, saya gunakan keyword input, and inside the keyword there, it requires a keyword argument. Okay, let me give you a simple lecture on keyword argument. Yeah. So, for example, kita ada keyword, contoh input tadi. Input is a keyword. So, you see here inside the parentheses, dia tunggu certain value, right? Those value could be a number. Okay, and this is what we call as anything that you put here, we call as a keyword argument. And this keyword argument expecting value. Okay, and we know that value could be number, right? Could be a character, right? Text. Okay, so whenever I say what is the keyword argument, they expect some sort of values. Okay, when I said keyword argument in some sort of function. Okay, all right, so let's get back to this. Okay, so the keyword argument that we want to use here is, okay, type dulu, nanti I will explain. Enter first number. Okay, and then provide sedikit double colon here, and then provide space a little bit supaya lebih kemas kita punya susunan. Okay. Buat dekat sel lain, jangan buat sel yang sebelum ni. Buat dekat sel lain, sel baru yang tak ada nombor. Okay. And then cuba kita run and see what's the effect when I run this cell. So you will see that something like this. Ada text box, betul tak? So dalam Java programming, when you do the Androids punya apa nama ni apps, this is what we call as widgets. So actually the input widget here, okay, ataupun the keyword here initiate this kind of widget, text box. Okay, so enter the first number, correct? Ini adalah benda yang you guys tulis dalam ni, the keyword argument that you put inside here. Okay, so what's the number that you want to enter? Let's say number 20. And then how to activate, masukkan 20 di dalam number 1. Macam tekan in this box, you tekan enter, jangan shift enter, tekan enter sahaja. So when you tekan enter, nampak tak nombor ni keluar? Tadi dia dalam bentuk asterisk, correct? Okay, cuba saya ulang balik. Shift enter. Mula-mula shift enter, I want to run this cell. Lepas tu dia asterisk, right? Because it's still waiting for the value to be inserted into this variable. So when I enter 20, tekan enter, jangan shift enter, tekan enter saja. Now the number appear, meaning that you already enter the value 20 into num1. Cuba you guys check apakah value num1. Cuba type num1 dekat sini. Okay, so nampak tak di output? So num1 you dah masukkan value number 20. Tetapi nampak tak value tu dalam bentuk apa? 20 itu nombor ke string?
String.
String, eh? Okay, the number is string. You see, it's bounded by this single quotation mark. So it's not the number. You cannot perform an arithmetic operation using this value. Okay, so what we should do? We have to do the conversion. And even you can check the type of num1. Type num1. Cuba kita type, tekan type. String, kan? Betul. So we expect that variable should be integer. So in this case, dekat sini you kena tambah satu updating process dia. So you kena num1 equal to num int num1. Okay, so sekarang saya dapat bila saya masukkan value tu dalam menggunakan kaedah ni, betul tak? So value dia dalam bentuk character, correct? The num1 sekarang character, string. Now the string will be converted into integer menggunakan integer method. Okay, in int keywords. And then that value, now the value is integer, will be assigned into variable num1. The same variable that you use. Jangan guna variable lain pula. Itu bukan update nama dia tu. Ini updating process. Okay, cuba buat sedikit mark dekat situ. Okay, update di data type itu apa? int. Betul tak? Kalau saya tak ada ini, saya just int saja, tak betul lah tu. Okay, make sure you assign whatever action that you do here, assign it into the variable that you want to update. Okay, so try shift enter 20, tekan enter, run the next session. So now you see the value is integer. Baru dia betul sikit, correct? Okay, baru dia okay sikit. So buat juga untuk num tu. Tetapi I want to teach you one technique. Ini boleh dikatakan amatur lah. I want you to become advanced. Program like an advanced. Kenapa? Kadang-kadang kita nak tukar the variable name, correct? I don't want to use a num1 lah. I want to use a num3. So in this case you kena tukar 3, 3, 3. Leceh tak kerja tu? How about we make everything into a satu statement saja? Okay, so in this case, instead of writing this way, I can write this way. Num1 equal to which action that you do first? Yang ni ke yang ni? Remember, in programming, the first thing that your program read is the first line. Dia read ini dahulu, baru dia read ni. So in this case, maksudnya ini you buat dulu, betul tak? Okay, baru yang ni. So the logic when you construct this is what we call as a compound statement. Dalam buku ada. Compound statement. So everything you make in a single line. So dekat sini ada dua keyword that you combine in the single line. So dekat sini ada dua keyword, input and int, correct? So the first thing that you have to type adalah int. And barulah input, enter, first. Oh, sorry. You have to understand kenapa bukan input yang buat dekat luar ni. Kalau macam tu you punya flow tu dah silap. So the right flow you see dalam statement ni yang akan your program interpret adalah yang ni tu. Betul tak? Because after you get this value, baru you boleh gunakan value tu and apply the int punya keyword, correct? Kalau saya buat int, kalau your program interpret int dulu, mana value dia, betul tak? So that's why when you run this statement, first dia akan run ni dahulu. Okay, so dia akan run yang di dalam, maksudnya 20. So when I tekan enter, so nanti value 20 ini akan ditukarkan menjadi integer. Okay, itu logik dia. That's the logic. Okay, cuba tekan enter and then cuba check type num1 right now. I believe you will get integer. Okay. Alright, so now we have the. Sekarang boleh tak I continue the program dengan tenang hati yang selesa? Okay, so apa yang kita buat? Copy paste. Copy, ini untuk num1. Okay, ini untuk num2. Betul tak? Ini tukar second. Okay, now back to your flowchart. Coba kita tengok you punya flowchart. So, sekarang ni, int num1 is represented by this one, correct? Int num2, input int num2 represented by this statement. And you complete this. Okay, dah selesai yang ni. Second, apa dia? I equal to num1 and num2. Okay, so selesai untuk yang ni. Sekejap, guna warna merah lah. Ini selesai, ini selesai. Display. Gunakan keyword print tadi, correct? Okay. So print apa? Print I. So shift enter 20, 30. So you get 600. Now all this program you have done it. 10 markah. Just like that. Okay. So whatever you have in your flowchart must be represented in your coding. Sebab tu saya cakap, when I check your project, saya tengok, kenapa flowchart tak sama dengan coding? Itu masalah. So it must be there. Okay. Okay, sekarang ni saya nak ajar kita buat sedikit manipulation dekat output ni, boleh tak? Macam tak seronok je tengok 600 Why not kita ada satu word something like this. Don't type it. Don't type it. Saya nak something like the result of berapa? 20 times 30 is 600. Saya nak benda ni. I want the result to be displayed like this. So how do we do that? Nampak tak saya ajar mula-mula dekat sini tadi? We can use this technique. Okay, so if I do like this, contoh saya just copy paste this and put it here. Yes, I can get it. But when I change the value, 10 times 20, tak ubah. Betul tak? Sebab you print this character. You tak initiate, tak call this value, correct? You are not calling the value from the variable. So you have to call the value from variable. So type print. Okay. Gunakan double quotation mark, lebih seronok. Sebab kita buat ayat. So guna dua. Single boleh, tapi saya cadangkan guna dua. Sebab dia buat ayat. We make a sentences. Okay. So the result. Okay, cuba you type result of, so 20 ni adalah value that you want to recall, correct? From where? From the first variable, 61, correct? So you provide comma there, lepas tu 61. And comma again. So nanti the result of the value of 61, which is 20, for example, will be displayed in your sequence text nanti. Okay, simbol X ni. Ini adalah X ya, bukan darab lah. Tak ada simbol darab ya dekat sini. So saya gunakan simbol X. So X is character, correct? Like this. Okay, and then comma again, 62, comma again is, okay, and then comma again is I. So you see the first number, 61, the result of 10 times 20 is 600. Nampak tak koma ni? Contoh saya tak bawa koma ni. Contoh. You will see there will be an error later on. Nampak tak? Syntax error. So I want to tell you another type of sorry ya. Syntax. Apa syntax? Syntax actually is a rules that you have to follow when do the programming. Contohnya macam when you want to name the variable, it must started with a letter ataupun underscore, betul tak? You cannot start with a number, correct? You cannot have a symbol in the variable name. So all these are rules. And then, for example, in this case, you terlupa tutup ni, betul tak? Tak betul lah dia punya method tu. Ada something wrong. So dia akan recognize this as a syntax error. So you have to provide this. Okay. Sama juga dalam case yang ni. Bila nak buat ni, kena ada koma lah untuk pisahkan different data type. As I mentioned earlier, you can display a mixture, a hybrid data type in this argument. You see, here I have string, correct? Here I have a number, right, integer. And then they must be separated by a comma. Okay. And what is a comma? Comma is another element that we call as a punctuation. Okay, the punctuation. Ataupun salah satu lagi ini. So tujuan dia kalau comma ni to separate the variable or expression with different data type. Tetapi untuk string, untuk simbol yang ni, you see the punctuation is to construct a literal string expression. Maksudnya when we bound that, indicate that itu adalah string value. Jangan pula you guys tiba-tiba macam you guys tulis novel noktah pula kat ujung ni. Itu salah lah. Okay. Kononnya, oh habis sentence nokta. Wah, please. Error. Error, bang. Okay, cik, error. Jangan tulis novel, ada nokta tiba-tiba. Jangan pula tiba-tiba ada something like this. Wah, ini maksud lain. Tak boleh. Itu dia. Okay, dia ada maksud lain dia. You will learn that later on. Okay, noktah ni ada maksud. Next week kita akan tengok mana kita boleh pakai. Okay, so back to the lesson. Mana ni? Ini. Cuba try. Maybe 11, 21. So you see, everything will be automated. Ini kita panggil sebagai automation. A small kind of automation. Jangan ingat benda robot boleh detect macam tu automation. Tak semestinya. Ini dah simple automation. Simple like this. Okay. So you see, I teach you using a very simple example. Am I right? Very simple example. But from here, I can show to you how to make things better. Tapi dalam projek bukan macam ni lah ya. Dalam test jangan macam ni ya. Okay, whatever example that you have in the books, try. Mana tahu ada ditanya. Okay, cuba selesaikan problem yang dalam buku itu. Memang tak ada jawapan lah. Okay, tapi cuba selesaikan. Apa tadi? Okay, so this is the way. So you can play around. Tapi tiba-tiba you masukkan bukan karakter. Contoh, catch. Nampak tak? Error. Sebab